I saw some like heartfelt like chest grabs back there. Something special. Anybody?
Sure.
Okay.
I just said I want to retire my husband.
Yes.
7 days a week.
Yeah, I love it. Just be done with that. Yeah.
My family, just in general, my boys.
Yeah.
Want them to have a good life.
Cool. Like this? Okay. Does it really like work? Like you hear me
Yeah.
through it? Okay, cool. Okay, well I'll share mine. When I moved here, which was just in August of 2020, my husband's business was struggling big time, and that had previously supported us until I got into real estate. And I just knew new market, like this is it. I gotta figure out how to sell houses in a new market because I gotta take care of my family and support us. And so that was my why. And I think for most of us, it's usually some version of supporting our family and taking care of our loved ones. And I don't think we spend enough time really being present to that and taking the time each day to be like, that's what matters to me, and that's the reason why I'm gonna go knock on doors even though I really don't freaking want to, or whatever it is that you're gonna do that is gonna bring you more business. So with that, I'm gonna go into what we say to ourselves about ourselves is going to be the most impactful way that you can shift a piece of your business, because your mindset is going to impact how you talk to people. So, we've talked a lot about how we don't want to be salesy and we don't want to, come off pushy. And so, if we are telling ourselves that we are pushy, if we're telling ourselves, oh, that's kind of slimy, I don't want to say that to them, then we're going to come off that way. If we're coming up from a different perspective, that will shift it. So what are some of the negative, I'm not going to spend too much time on that because I don't want to give any power or energy to it, but what are some of the negative things you say to yourselves that, disempower you and get you out of the game?
I'm not confident and they know it.
Okay, I'm not confident and they know it. Yeah.
I'm new and I don't have all the answers.
I'm new and I don't have all the answers. I
I
wrote down
think Sheila said this before, but try not to be too pushy, because that'll hold me back, because I don't want to be salesy.
Don't be too pushy. Yeah, because then you're stopping yourself. It's
Yeah,
like an
yeah.
immediate roadblock. Okay, I wrote down, they don't want me spamming them, and I'm not high-end enough. I'm not that fancy. Like, I'm not high-end enough for that client. Anything else like that? I also wrote down, I can't manage it all. I don't know if anybody else can relate to that, but when we have a lot of clients or a lot that's going on, we get overwhelmed. And overwhelm can absolutely take you out, because if you're saying to yourself, I can't handle it all, or there's just not enough time, all of a sudden we spend so much time stressing about how we don't have the time that we're actually not using the time to get the things done, right? When you're saying those things to yourself, it takes you out of the game and it stops you from actually performing at the level that you're capable of. So let's go on the other side of that. What kind of things, affirmations, sayings, mantras do you say to yourself that get you in the game, that put you in your powerhouse and make you perform? Yeah.
There's only one of me, because there's so much competition, it's really hard to not get discouraged.
Cool. I love that one because how you say it could be completely different on how it's like interpreted. And that could be disempowering.
There's only
like,
one of me.
One of me.
There's only one of me.
Yeah. But there's only one
Right.
of me. Sorry, sloppy handwriting. Anybody else?
I think on that same lines, at least for me personally, like the intimidation of seeing other agents in the industry, like at a younger age too. I think that's like your power is just really knowing there's only one of you and you're going to attract that client that, is totally different from what, your friend or is going to attract, but just authentically being yourself.
Right.
I don't know, I feel like it's really easy in this industry to like get caught up in that like comparison. I think it's the hardest thing as a new agent. So just focusing on like your unique talents and abilities and then like playing on that, I've noticed a way bigger difference.
Is there anything you like say to yourself consistently that like reminds you of that feeling?
I don't know another way to put it. I think you just have to genuinely like yourself.
Yeah.
Because then you really know, like you believe the value that you bring, because you just, I don't know. I feel like that's just my mindset.
I definitely have a mantra that I say to myself that's just, I'm awesome. Like, seriously, I'm awesome. Like, people should want to work with me. I'm awesome, you know? Like, whatever that is that just like sings to your heart and makes you feel all the good juju, like, that's the one, you know? I love that. Yeah.
I always say, I got this.
I got this.
It's like my little cheer to myself.
Totally.
I just try to remember that. I just give gratitude that I will always find the answer. Because there's always somebody to ask, there's always a resource.
Are there any that you specifically bring to mind when you start to feel disempowered, when you start to go to that place of like not being enough or not being able to handle it? Is there something you say to yourself that helps check you back into your power? Sheila?
Going back to the I knew and I don't have all the answers. Well, I know when I was new, that was really big for me. And so I just started saying, I might be new, but I know where to find the answers. Like, I don't have the answers, but I do know where to find them.
Right.
That empowered me to not be afraid of any question that might come up with a buyer or seller.
Yeah. You know, I may be new, but I know where to find the answers. I love it. I'm going to go back to my notes here. Sometimes when I start to get discouraged and I think I'm not high-end enough for that client, I've sold high-end properties, but, it's all in our heads that we get on that. I go back to the whole I got this. That's one that definitely rings true for me. I also, when I get disempowered around getting stuff done, I actually say to myself, I promised John I wouldn't curse, but in my head I'm cursing, just so you know. I say, I get stuff done. Like, really, like I do. All day, every day. I get stuff done. And finding what those things are that kind of drive you up and build you up, because there's not always going to be a cheerleader in the room to, say those things to you. You have to be that for yourself.
Sorry, I keep raising my hand.
It's okay.
I say a lot of times too, this too shall pass. Like, it works in so many aspects of life. When I'm feeling frustrated, bad client situation, not getting a deal closed, this too shall pass.
Yeah. And the next thing will come.
Sit on a text or email for 30 minutes.
Yes. It's going to take a minute before I respond to that. Oh boy. Mike, go ahead.
Yeah, so I make a lot of calls, and I was just told her that I still get scared of those calls. And so I'll sit in front of my computer, and I get ready to pick up my phone, and sometimes I have to read like my little script like 30 times.
Sure.
Right? But I have in front of me on my screen, it says, I'm a go-getter, I get things done, I do things now. And when I read that, I pick up the phone and I just make it happen.
Yeah, even if you're not feeling it in the moment, you're like, no, but I said that that's who I am, and so that's who I'm going to be.
Fake until you make it.
Right, and holding on to those, which is a perfect segue into, the next thing I want to talk about, which is routines and rituals that have those things live true for you every day. So what are some things that you're doing every single day in your life to stay present to your why, and to stay present to those positive affirmations, to that who you are and what you choose to be out there in your business? Danica?
I recently just started, but I wake up at least an hour before the kids.
You read the Miracle Morning, didn't you?
No, I went to John's last training, and Grant Porter said he gets up every morning, 5 a.m., and has his routine, and that really sat with me. So,
What? Give me an idea of what's a part of your routine.
so personally, I wake up at 5, and I get a hot cup of coffee, and then I do my Bible study, and then I just sit in the quiet and just kind of think through my power list.
Give me an example of what your power list looks like.
My power list is 5 things, between 3 and 5 things that I set the night before that will move the needle in my business.
Cool.
That's great.
Did I get them all? Did I miss anything? I think there was another hand back here, and then I'm going to come to you.
Yeah, mine is literally exactly the same. I have 4 kids, and so I found that waking up with my family and starting my day like that, I was so discombobulated by the time I was alone.
Yep.
That my alarm goes off at 4:40 every morning. My coffee is set for 4:25, so it's already brewed when I stumble into the kitchen. And I pour a cup of coffee and I sit and I read and I do gratitudes, and I just sit in the quiet, dark, lit room and focus and remember why I'm doing this and what I need to get done for that day. And I also have a vision board that I did right when I got my real estate license. And it's funny, last year it kind of got shuffled and things got put in front of it. And I bought a whiteboard over Christmas break, and I brought my vision board back out, and it's just seeing it every day and being reminded of the whole picture, because it is. We just get so lost and buried. And one thing that I tell myself all day long is just get this one thing done. Just do this one thing and then move on to the next, instead of a big bowl of spaghetti in my mind. Like, just work on this one task.
Focus in. I love it. Okay, one more minute. Sorry, Molly. Yeah, okay.
Every morning I review goals, my goals, real estate and non-real estate goals.
Right.
And I think you need to keep reading those and reaffirming those on a daily basis. And then at nighttime, shut off the computers and the phones at least an hour before bedtime. And then that's my time to reflect on the day. How did it go? And then what am I doing for tomorrow, so when I wake up, I feel like I'm very well prepared for the next day.
Okay, one more hand up. Okay.
My wife is to spend as much time with my daughter and my wife as possible, so I try and work about 25 hours a week, which to do that has to be extremely effective. So on Sundays, I sit down and I map out everything that has to be done. And like I constantly keep, for both my businesses and my personal life, every morning I review like just the focus, so that I know the activities that come from it, because I have them all scheduled. So then I go into work, I cross them off. As soon as I'm done, I go home, whether that's 11:30 or 4 p.m. I just know what I have to do it effectively, get out of there.
Absolutely. Really good. Yeah, just wrap up like one.
Yeah.
Okay. You know, so how many of you have set goals and then forgotten about what your goals were? Like over and over and over again, right? And so this is the secret sauce. You know, having a routine, a daily routine. Weekly works too, I think, but daily, staying really present every single day to that why, and then what your goals are, and then breaking it down on what I am going to do today that gets me to those goals that are, you know, my yearly goals or whatever those are. But having those routines in your life that help have you get there. I can't talk. You get the point, right? You know, this is the secret sauce for me, keeping my mindset in check and making sure that I'm, you know, staying on track. And it sounds like you guys are all doing it too.